Shalom Aleichem, Mishpochim, Boker Tov. I am continuing with the readings in Rabbi Nachman's Sefer, Crossing the Narrow Bridge. We are in chapter 2, which is the good points. It is titled The Good Points. Chapter 3, The Good Points. And this is teachings on certain ways that we can learn and use to see things in positive ways, to see people in positive with positive perceptions, and in any situation in life that God allows us to be in, to take from it positive teachings from life situations, to take from things in a positive outlook, a positive light. And that's basically what this is teaching on. And it's giving different scenarios, and even one's enemies, a zamra, various different teachings on how to walk in the light and how to see things with more positively, rather than staying down and in depression, or looking at people and judging others unfavorably. Different situations it gives, and it teachings on it. So I will begin. We left off here, and oneself. Let us begin. All right, you'll say, so I'll judge the other guy favorably. Maybe he is okay. Truth is, I don't really know his motives or the things which make him act the way he does, but I can't say the same for myself. I know what makes me tick, and believe me, there's no way that I can honestly say that I'm okay, too. Many people adhere to this line of reasoning. Even people who on the outside seem self-confident and generally positive about themselves when pressed will admit that they find it hard to judge themselves favorably. They know themselves too well, and basically their self-evaluation may be accurate. Their good deeds may be motivated by a desire for fame and fortune. Yet the question still remains, is their conclusion, their belief that they are not okay, is that correct? The Rebbe would say, no. A zamra. Rabbi Nachman teaches, you must also find this good point within yourself. You must always be happy when examining yourself. You may find that you do not have any good points, Torah, mitzvot, kind acts, etc., to be happy about. You must not allow yourself to fall into depression. Instead, search your deeds. There must be some good, even if you find that your deeds are not clean, that your actions were dictated by ulterior motives and improper thoughts. Then, at least, find the positive aspects within the things you did. Some aspects of your deeds must have been positive. And if not, you can at least be happy that you are a Jew. This good point you cannot fault, because it was God's doing. Rabbi Meir of Teplik was visiting Reb Nassan when asked about a certain person living in Teplik. Reb Meir replied very matter-of-factly, as if to say that the man wasn't much to talk about. Reb Nassan said to him, if you will look at things negatively and with an unfavorable eye, you'll find fault with everyone in the whole world. Think of the people living in Teplik. Start with the person living at the edge of town. If you look at him carefully, you'll certainly find some shortcomings. Now go from house to house until you get to your house. Are you the only good Jew in the whole town? Me? I'm also not very righteous, Reb Meir quickly replied. If you're not, then who is this? Asked Reb Nassan. If you're not, then who is? Asked Reb Nassan. But if you look at the world favorably, he continued, you'd find good even in the worst person, and then certainly in everyone else. One of the main reasons people get depressed is failure. A business deal you're working on falls through. A relationship you're trying to develop doesn't work out. I failed again, you say to yourself. A family feud upsets you. It's pointless, but it leaves you anxious. Sometimes you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and feel like you have to brace yourself for a day in which everything will go wrong. Be careful. It's not good to allow a feeling of failure. or even a feeling of unaccomplishment to set in. When you do, you become pessimistic, and this invites further failures. What else can you do? You can find a good point. Recharge yourself with optimism and positive thinking. You do have valuable qualities. You can succeed. Adopting this attitude will help you recover from any setbacks. Even in those areas where things were going all wrong, you'll encounter success. Rabbi Nachman placed much emphasis on this concept. One must always seek the good. He repeated again and again, be forever the optimist. Never despair. Never let go. Whatever good you find, preserve it. Doing this will help you discover your own unique reservoir of vitality. Like all men, you are in possession of an incredible inner strength, an almost never-ending source of energy inside you, resembling a rechargeable battery that can propel you forward. How do you turn it on? How do you get it going? This is what Rabbi Nachman comes to tell us. Start by seeking the good. Focus only on your good points. Don't despair. You can succeed. You will succeed. Once, fire swept through a part of Breslov. Passing by the site, Reb Nosson and his followers spotted one of the distraught homeowners. Although crying bitterly, he was sifting through the rubble of his destroyed house in the hope of finding something, anything that he might use to rebuild his home. Reb Nosson said, "Do you see what he's doing? Even though his house has been destroyed, he hasn't given up hope. He's collecting whatever might be useful for rebuilding his house. The same is true when it comes to spirituality. The evil one fights against us. He tries to destroy whatever holiness we've built up by getting us to do something which goes against God's will. Even so, when we are knocked down and all seems hopeless, we must never give up hope. We have to pick up a few good points and collect them together from amidst the sins. This is the way to return to God." Rabbi Nachman teaches a person should interpret the verses of the Psalms as regards himself. He should see the words as applying specifically to him and his situation. In connection with this, someone once asked the Rebbe how it was possible to apply all the verses. What about where the King David praises himself, as when he said, "God, guard my soul, for I am a chassid." Tehillim 86. King David was able to say this about himself, but there was no way this man could honestly say that he could. The Rebbe answered, "A person must judge himself favorably at all times. Doing this allows the person to be a chassid in at least that one good point." We see this in our daily liturgy. At first we say, "Who are we? What is our life? What is our righteousness?" Then we say, "But we are the children of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov." Thus we praise ourselves and find some good points about ourselves. And this brings us to serve God. Someone once came to Rabbi Nachman complaining about how bitter his life was. This man wanted to draw closer to God and mend his ways. But each time he tried, the temptations grew stronger and stronger. Days turned into weeks and years, and he had still not managed to better himself in his devotions to God. The Rebbe tried to encourage him, but to no avail. The man just kept bemoaning his fate. The Rebbe then said to him, Sing that all is bad. It's clear that I have no one to talk to." At this, the man grew excited and said to Rabbi Nachman, "But I do try. I do make attempts to change myself. I'm not totally bad." Hearing this, the Rebbe said to him, "Aha! Now, make use of the lesson Azamra. Use your good points to inspire you." It was Rabbi Nachman's intention that the person himself say that all was not lost, that he still had a desire to change his ways. Feeling distance from God, a man begins to think that he might never succeed. By challenging all men in the same way he challenged this man, the Rebbe forces us to acknowledge that we do have good points. Once this is established, we are all capable of going forward. Our sages advised, every person must say that the world was only created for me. What does that mean? It means that every person is important, and especially you. It's true, you come first. The world was created for you. The only thing is, as Rabbi Nachman explains, this privilege carries responsibility. Because the world was created for me, I must see to its rectification. I am responsible for the world. Reb Nosson not only studied Rabbi Nachman's teachings, he lived them. Finding the good points is a theme which appears again and again throughout his discourses in Likutei Halachot. He translates the lesson Azamra into practical guidance for better relationships with family, friends, and neighbors, and indeed with whomever we come into contact. Imagine a majority of all arguments in the home. the most common and often the most harmful form of disagreement, would be eliminated instantly if only we could get ourselves to see the good points and focus only on the positive qualities in our spouses and children. Rabbi Nachman stressed, never despair. No matter what has happened, no matter how far you've strayed, never despair. Reb Nosson adds, you can always find ways to return to God. If you have started, continue. If you haven't yet started to serve God, start now. Reb Nosson recognized our need for finding hitzchazkut, support and encouragement. Yet, whenever he talks about the support we can draw from ourselves, he inevitably shifts over to the support we must draw from ourselves. I'm sorry, I'll read that again. Yet, whenever he talks about the support we can draw from others, he inevitably shifts over to the support we can draw from ourselves. In the final analysis, no matter how much encouragement we get from others, the tzaddik, our family, friends, etc., it comes down to how much we care about ourselves. Therefore, Reb Nosson writes, after all, if you don't take pity on yourself, who will? In addition, Reb Nosson writes, even a drop of good is never lost. Never. Our sages teach, if you've searched and succeeded in finding, believe it. Why believe it? If I found, then I know it. What's the point in believing? But this is the point. No matter how much you seek the good, you may think you haven't yet achieved or attained any. You might feel yourself even more distant from your goal than you were before you started. With this in mind, our sages specifically taught, believe it. Believe that you found some good, even if you can't see it. Reb Nosson also illustrates how we can come to see that good and, in the process, discover that we have even more good than we think. Whenever we lose something important, something that we need immediately, we'll go looking for it. We'll search high and low, and eventually we'll find it. What often happens in the course of the search is that we come across other lost items, things we'd forgotten about and didn't remember that we still had. It is the same for the person who is always looking for his really good points in Judaism. In the course of his search, he will inevitably come across other long lost tidbits that are his alone. Much to his surprise, he will find that he has a lot of little good qualities within him. It's wonderful, these teachings, like I said before, and the word used to describe them is delightfully profound, because it's encouragement to the heart, it's encouragement to the nefesh, to the soul, to the neshama. It's encouragement to read these encouragements, these upliftments, and I think we have to come across them in order to implement these ways in our lives. You have to think about them. You have to be taught them. You have to hear about them. You have to see it, and ultimately, all good that we see, hear, read, anything that we speak, think, that we come across in this world, comes from Hashem, because all good points come from Hashem. Everything good comes from Hashem. So search out these followers of Hashem. Search out these good points that Hashem has put in this world, that we have so ready available to us. I mean, Hashem's good points are so available and ready for us that you just have to go to it. You have to think about it. You have to listen. You have to go and search it out. And when you do that, hold on to it. Hold on to these good points when you search for them within yourself, within this world. When you learn the good points of Hashem and yourself and in others, when you learn these good points, hold on to them and never let go, and put them in your thoughts. Fill your mind with these good points. So, and spread the good points of Hashem, to the ends of the earth, wherever you may go. Be the good point. Be the good point. All right. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day.